Welcome to Haxby Shed and my 100th video. Who would have thought that it would come to this?
Quite a while ago now, I was at the auto jumble, having a look round, as you do, and I saw this. It's basically a pressure tester. Motor, air reservoir, regulator and filter. Thought about it, no reason to buy it. It was priced up at 20 quid. So anyway, I walk off and the guy shouts after me, 15! No, I don't want it. I've no use for it whatsoever. Just don't want it, thanks. But I'll give you 12. Oh, can't take 12. I'll lose money at 12. Okay, keep it. Alright, I'll take 12. Of course then I had to buy it, didn't I? So I get it home and try and turn it over, and the motor's stuck or the pump is stuck or something. So we'll take it to bits and find out what's going on. It's a very useful looking motor, so there could be actually quite a number of ways I could use this. I've got something in mind actually already. So let's give it a go. This is actually an oilless compressor, so I'm interested to see what it's like inside. Get this head off. I know I'm going to crack the seal and I might struggle to seal it again. Oh, I don't know. It's coming off all right actually. You can see this fan turning now as I lift this head, so it's stuck in here somewhere. I'm going to take this big brass fitting out. I might be able to squirt something in there to free it off. And unscrewed the air filter. And here we go. Just more valves actually. Can't get into that without an Allen key. Not ideal this, but I don't think I've got any choice. Oh, here we go. That's going to come, I think. Oh, yeah. I can see an iron cylinder. Come on, off you come. Yes. Ah. It's pretty stuck, this now. It was alright earlier. There must be a lot of rust in the cylinder at the bottom end. If I unscrew this handle here, I think that'll come off and I'll get to the back of the cylinder then. Why have such a long screw? Good. Okay. Oh, so stiff. No. Well, I've just got to get one of these valves out so I can get some lubrication in. So start by lubricating these. And try again. I've got the cylinder head pushed down and 2 screws put back in to hold it in place. Oh, Still can't get those out. So what I'm going to do is to fill this with penetrating oil, press through one of the holes, push open the disc flap valve, and hopefully that will let the penetrating oil run in. In fact, if I fill this with penetrating fluid and do that, the vacuum opens the valve anyway. And now it's beginning to free a little bit. There we are, look. See if I can get it right off now then. Actually, now this is moving so freely, do I really need to pull it right off? I'm not going to. I'm going to put it back as it was. There's no gasket here, it doesn't require it. Right, and then we'll wire it up and see how it runs. What do you think then? Will it run? Plug it in and try. Here goes. 3, 2, 1, go! Woo. Nice and quiet motor. Lovely. Now I know it works, I'm going to take it off this board because the board's full of woodworm and I've got enough in here already, which has all been treated. This label is the only real clue to who made it. Intercross Limited, 28 Warple Road, London, SW19. I had hoped this motor could be the basis of a two-post grinder, because I bought this shaft as well with a pulley on this end, and I could put a grinding wheel on that end, rig the two up together, take this pump off, put a big pulley on, and that might have been, you know, my two-post grinder. But I don't think this motor's fast enough. I've put it all back together and I want to see if I can build up any pressure. I got this gauge from an old tyre pump. I've rummaged around in my old brass bits box and I found a couple of things that might make up an adapter for the gauge to go on the end of this pipe. So I'll clean those up and just soft solder them, and we'll see what we can do with it. This should do for an adapter. Bit off a light fitting and a bit off a bicycle valve. I don't know what the chances are of this holding pressure. Probably somewhere between 0 and -0. Here it goes. Well, the best I can get out of that is 12 psi, and when I turn it off it's blowing back into the cylinder, so those valves must need to come out and be cleaned. It's about 10 days since I made that last clip. I've been away on holiday. I've been thinking about this compressor whilst I was away, and I realise I may still use it as a compressor rather than just use the motor for something else. I ought to be getting more than 12 psi easily. There's actually a pressure relief valve here. It'd be nice to see that blowing off. So the problem's going to be either the valves, or it could be the piston and the rings. So I'm going to start by see if I can get this valve out and potentially put a spring in there to make sure the valve closes, so that when I turn the compressor off the pressure doesn't leak away back through the valve and into the cylinder. We've been here before, haven't we? That bit of penetrating oil that I put on before I went away seems to have done the trick. You can see how it's constructed. A spring disc just riveted there at the back. What I'm planning to do is to add this spring, which came off a bicycle axle, and it'll just keep a bit of pressure on that disc, and hopefully it'll stop it leaking with the air coming back into the cylinder.
the cap might just hold that spring in place, look. Adding that helper spring got us up to 30 psi, but then I found some of the joints were leaking, so I've put some PTFE tape on those and we'll see what we get now. Well, if I leave it long enough it gets to 45 psi, and you can see that the air is only leaking away gradually now. So this is just about practically usable. There's just one more thing I want to do at this stage, and that is I'd like to check how fast that motor's spinning. And I've bought myself this RPM meter. It fires a laser onto a reflective strip and counts the RPM. I've put the reflective sticker just there, look. This meter was showing reliably about 1450 RPM. So it's a 4-pole motor, single phase. We're running on 50 Hz here. The motor is running faster than I thought. Because it was so quiet, I thought it was a slow running motor. So, talking about the tool post grinder, that's quite a small pulley there. I could put a pulley on there 3 times that size, about 4500 RPM. It would actually be a pretty good setup for a tool post grinder. But also, you know, I could keep this with the compressor unit. I could use it for an air spray aerosol coolant system. Just pop it behind the lathe. I do have a big compressor, but I've got to go and turn it on. I'd have to rig up some pipe work and so on. So, you know, with a handle, this is portable. I could carry it across to the hacksaw or anything else that needed an aerosol coolant spray. I'd need to put new seals in this regulator filter because I found the air was blowing out of the top here and the bottom, but I could sort that out. So now I'm going to leave it as it is, and it'll sit in my stock until I've got a project for it. I hope that was interesting for you. Thank you for watching Hacks Be Shared.